Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you watch us at the moment. Yeah, welcome to our webinar this morning. Our topic is smart ports require smart and robust technologies, and yeah, this will be our topic over the next hour. So let me introduce myself first. My name is Peter Winzek. I'm a business development manager with IFM Electronic. Yeah, I have a more than 20-year background in port technology, mainly in the on the automation side. But as we all see, the world is moving, and the OT, the automation technology, and the IT, the information technology, are joining forces more and more. And therefore, it is necessary to have smart sensors, generate smart assets on the customer side, and on the other side, yeah, we need wireless technologies to bring all these data into a cloud. And therefore, I'm very happy to have Jan Diekmann with me this morning from the company Ericsson. So IFM made a partnership with Ericsson, and Jan will introduce himself.
Thank you, Peter. Also a warm welcome from my side. Very happy to be here. My name is Jan Diekmann. I work in Ericsson dedicated networks, doing business development and partnerships like the one we have with IFM, which enables me to be here today. Maybe a few words on Ericsson, as we might not be known everywhere in the ports industry. We are leading edge of 5G. We have roughly 100,000 employees worldwide. We operate in 180 countries, and last year we had roughly 230 billion Swedish krona in sales. We have today 149, almost 150 commercial 5G agreements and 97 live 5G networks out in the world in 46 countries. That means 5G is really taking off. Looking a bit at our portfolio, of course, our main focus is 5G radio and core technology, but also a lot of service components and a strong enterprise portfolio in the area of IoT, mission critical and dedicated networks. And yeah, thank you. Here I hand back over to you, Peter, to say a few words on IFM.
Thank you, Jan. I just want to introduce IFM a little bit for you. For those of you who are not aware on who IFM is and what we are doing and where our background is. Yeah, the IFM group of companies was founded in 1969 by two engineers. And it is still a privately owned company. We have over 7,000 employees, and our revenue last year was about 1 billion euros. Yeah, our corporate goals, our development goals, goes hand in hand with the UN sustainability goals. This is an efficient part of our development. Here we see 5 of the major goals we are following over the years. One of the most important to me is the water consumption in all of our factories were reduced by 23% due to new technologies, recycling, etc., etc. On the other side, of course, all our plants are connected to green energy, so that gives us a good carbon footprint with 100% renewable. And finally, it is important to mention to me that IFM has a philosophy, a written philosophy since 1990, and therefore we have made some strict rules, and one of the rules is that we don't do business with military. Okay, let's come to the next slide to have a look at our industry portfolio that we cover. Over the years, we are covering many industries around the globe. in almost every country. And I highlighted the industries where we learned most to make our product more robust and suitable for a rugged environment as we have it in ports. So the mobile machines were part of that, also port technology and ship automation. Yeah, having a look at our product portfolio, we have more than 12,000 sensors mainly. So we are, from our history, a sensor company, but now we are doing a transformation into IoT software and gateways as well. So as you see highlighted in blue, we have done a lot of equipment that can be used perfectly in ports. Having a look at our internal digital transformation, of course, we cannot help the customer to transform his business without doing our transformation first. And therefore, we started almost 10 years ago with our internal transformation. As I mentioned earlier, we are a hardware company historically. So our sensors and control systems were used over the last 50 years in many applications. And now what we did was to integrate digital interface as a major interface. We mentioned IO-Link, digital interface into our sensors. That means our sensors can be directly connected to the cloud. We call that from sensor to the cloud. Yeah, we will see some examples later on that. Secondly, of course, it is important to have a dedicated edge gateway that gives you easy connectivity from your machine network to your desired cloud provider. Number 4, we created our own IoT software platform, to make it easier. We have many customers who asked us for that because they don't want to invest in several softwares to do all the IoT evaluation, and therefore we created our own platform. And finally, of course, with some of our daughter companies, we can offer the complete system, including the analytics in the cloud, the artificial intelligence and machine learning. Yeah, a little bit a highlight on our Moneo software, originally designed for Industry 4, but I call it Port 4.0 now. Yeah, it's a lot of similar requirement, but probably different requirements from the application and from the robustness in all stages. Of course, we want to help increase plant efficiency, decrease standstills and optimization of processes. Yeah, and nevertheless, of course, our overall motto, IFM close to you. Okay, but now starting with smart ports. Having a look at this, some research slides from Arthur D. Little, together with Ericsson, and of course they figured out over the last years there was a dramatic increase in global transport, container transport, as we all know, but in our feeling, in most cases, the capacity in the port was not increasing the same way, and therefore we have to find ways to make the port smarter, so that we can handle that with the existing equipment, having less breakdowns, having a plant maintenance, and so on. Yeah, if you look at the overall capacities, of course, unbelievable increase over the years with there's no end in my feeling. And what we can see here from 1980, where the container business came in effect till now, at the moment most ports we have connected ports. That means we have a good level of automation. We have connected individual assets, but now a smart port connects this to an information platform, to an information database. And that is a big challenge we are working on at the moment. Yeah, here you can see a lot of threads in the ports. I think you as a port operator know it better than we do. And of course, every percentage here, we want to help you to optimize. Yeah, let's focus on one point here when we have a look at the first application. This is the 20% of the cost coming up on not, I would say, inadequate or not good maintenance. What we are doing, unplanned downtime and things like that. So that means the more information we have about critical assets, the more we can predict and the more we can do a really good planning of our maintenance, non-unexpected breakdown. And for this, for the first application, I want to share a cooperation that we have done with our long-lasting customer Bromma. I'm sure all of you know Bromma in the field of as a premium spreader manufacturer, and this is one of the situations or one of the statistics internally from Bromma that they say unscheduled downtime, especially from a spreader, of course, can have a major impact. Yeah, and we know that 30 to 50% of the K crane downtime are related to spreader, and therefore they were thinking, how can we make a spreader smarter? Yeah, and of course IFM could offer all the related sensors. We have camera systems on it. We have a twist lock control, yeah, to make sure that all the sensors are operating well and all the containers are properly taken. We have the master controller that can handle this rugged environment on the spreader, and we have the Bromma telematic unit, which will go to Jan a bit later to see how we can connect that device. But I think from a spreader control, it's obvious that it makes sense to have a 5G connection. Yeah, it does not make sense to create the big data over any LAN cable over the long line and things like that. That's a bit old-fashioned. So we make it state of the art now. So Bromma decided to call it Spreader Health. I like this name. Yeah, with a heartbeat on each individual spreader. Can give real-time information. We can see single KPI in the software, and there's a continuously recalculation of the effectiveness and of the maintenance history. We will see that in the screenshot in a few minutes. Yeah, of course, and we're talking always about the same topics. And the major point for me is to minimize the unplanned downtime. Everything is surrounded around this topic, and to create smart maintenance. And smart maintenance always means I need transparent information about my container management system. Yeah, some of the main functionalities. Yeah, as I said, real-time health monitoring to me the number one. The software can recommend the right solution to help the port operator to do the best maintenance in plan, and the spreader statistics help you for the future to see, hey, is that one of the well done spreader, or is that the other one that need a little bit more than the normal maintenance? And this is how the SMS panel looks, the spreader monitoring system. On the left side, you can see all the spreaders in your port on one page, and with the traffic light functions, you can see, hey, my spreader is still in green, everything works fine. It is yellow, okay, prepare for maintenance, or red, better to take it out and take a new one, yeah, to have a continuous operation. Of course, you can drill down to every single spreader and see the alarming over time to see, hey, the spreader itself is creating an alarm for you. Yeah, not the crane, not the operator, the spreader itself, and that makes IoT. Yeah, IoT makes Internet of Things, Industrial Internet of Things, so that means every asset can send you critical information in real time. And of course, any statistics available on that. Yeah, once again, you see you have this smart spreader, you have the telematic unit, and now the question to Jan, how do we connect the spreader to the cloud?
Thank you, Peter. So in Ericsson, we're well known, I think, for our technology that is used in many mobile operators, but we're also looking into how can we help enterprises to transform, to accelerate their digitalization through a reliable and secure technology. And that is basically the 5G technology that was already built, has or comes with inbuilt capabilities that especially serve enterprises. We've been looking at various verticals here, and we found that there is some huge commonality. They all look at high reliability and availability. So low latency is the topic, definitely, but also security, privacy. So the data stays on premise, on the yard, basically. It needs to be easy to operate. You don't want to take on new problems. You really want to solve problems. And it needs to be able to cover multiple sites, local survivability, and also easy integration with existing IT and OT system is a big topic. So these needs can be, of course, addressed by different network types. There is what we know, the nationwide and the global connectivity. That's the 4G and 5G networks that exist in almost every country in the world. But there's also the option to look at a dedicated network for a campus site. And how do these tell from each other? We can have a look at here. So public networks have, of course, the advantage of coverage beyond your site, beyond your enterprise, beyond your premise, while private networks cover your premise and are designed for the purpose. That means you get the capacity that you need, you get the latency that you need, and you get a local reliability, and you get full control and security management in your hands. So that's either managed locally or centrally if it spans over various enterprise premises. So these two options always exist, but 5G definitely lays the foundation for having one platform for a global connectivity. And a quick look at a couple of what is widely called use cases that can help digitalization, automation, and also can help to reduce accidents or incidents related to workers. And there are a variety of use cases. Some of those are related to what Peter mentioned earlier, data collection. Some are about control. And we will see a couple of those later on still. But 5G is one enabler for all of these use cases now and in the future. From an Ericsson standpoint, I said earlier, we are well known for our mobile broadband, which is the public networks offerings. But what you see now on the right side is the enterprise offering for what is called Ericsson Private 5G, which gives you a fully private pre-packaged network with potentially a shared run with the operator and an Ericsson-based cloud management. That comes all of Ericsson in a box, our superior radio portfolio paired with enterprise-specific additions we have made in the core network. It's supporting both 4G and 5G depending on the license type you get. And it comes with APIs that easily allow to integrate with your IT and OT always changing environment. More important as well is that it comes with a full lifecycle management, because you don't want to necessarily become a 5G expert. You want a 5G network to run on your premise and give you that reliable connectivity and mobility. So we have focused on really zero downtime, on easy install, easy to run, easy to manage software. So out came a really optimized and reliable and dedicated network that gives you one common network layer for all use cases, for all applications, with an industry-grade performance and reliability, with the ability to manage your network locally and to have your radio resources dedicated to your needs. This comes all in a packaged. It's really a product. It comes with the cloud-based management. It allows to scale, so you can start small and scale to a larger network later. It comes as partial or fully redundant network, and it comes with a variety of SLA options. There are certain extension packages to it that you can take on if you need them, like time-critical communications or positioning data states. This network gives you a reliable coverage of your terminal area at first hand. That means you will be able to connect devices, sensors, cameras, whatsoever, everywhere in your port's premise. And it will, by radio planning, also allow you to use the high throughput and low latency features that 5G is going to bring. We have deployed various networks in various ports, just a few examples of those. Port of Livorno, Rotterdam World Gateway, and Port of Panama are just some examples. And we have used it basically to connect workforce management systems, but also in Port of Livorno we have used advanced technologies like digital twin, for instance. And now, from giving back to another live example, I hand back to Peter, who will tell you a bit about one of the great IFM experiences.
Yeah, thank you, Jan. I wanted to use a chance to ask the audience, please, if you have any questions. I'm sure Jan gave us so much information in so little time. I'm sure there are some questions open. Please put it in the chat, and we have the chance to after the presentation. Thank you. Okay, yeah, let's have a look at the new megaport in Singapore. I'm sure all of you have heard of that. An ongoing project with unbelievable dimensions, and IFM is very happy to be part of that transformation. And this port, I think, from PSA was planned from the beginning as a smart port, and so everything is different from a regular port in the past. Yeah, we are very proud to be part of that. As you see, unbelievable investment, unbelievable dimensions. What's going on here? So one of the areas we have played, a unique role, I would say, after lots of proof of concepts and tests with other devices, is on the AGVs. We all know AGVs can be very critical, especially when they are working in an area together with other AGVs, or in an area where human beings or other vehicles are allowed to move as well, and therefore it is very important to have a good tracking system on board. And in this in this application. On the AGVs, we were using IFM 3D camera system as an anti-collision system. Yeah, they tried out laser scanners and other stuff over months before, but finally it came out that the old 3D camera system was the best to cover that. So if we have a look at the configuration of the AGV, there are two cameras, one on either side. So because of course the AGV can go forward and reverse. And next to the camera you have our illumination unit, which is also important. That works at day or at night with sunshine or with in the dark, and gives you a reliable signal. Then we have the programmable controller in the middle, who is doing the preprocessor of the camera signals. And finally, the 32-bit main controller, and of course that goes to a 4G or in the future 5G radio modem. You see the world is being connected. Yeah, this is a view on the camera. Yeah, some of the features of our 3D camera. Of course, it's a very robust design as all the other hardware we have in this presentation. Yeah, made for port application and similar very rugged application. So we have what is the main feature to me is we have augmented reality in real time. So that means the camera has a very special digital chip on board that gives you a digital data stream right away. So you don't need a separate industrial PC or anything to evaluate. And we have a very long range of up to 35 meters that we can cover. Yeah, that's also important to have a certain range around the AGV. Yeah, the main application here, of course, to avoid accidents. That is the number one important, to make sure that the AGV has a smart stop function when any obstacle or any human beings or any other objects are in front of the driving range. Yeah, a lot of powerful things in this camera. So we have developed a special chip, and this camera works with a time of flight measurement, which is, I think, unique in the market. There is no analog chip. It's an X by Y matrix that can be directly connected to the cloud and give us a lot more information. But as you can imagine, the camera signal, you need a certain bandwidth, of course, and therefore, to me, 5G is the way to go. Yeah, we can do automatic vehicle tracking as well. When you have one vehicle after the other, there is a certain software algorithms in there where we can detect special reflectors on the next AGV. So to detect an AGV from a reflecting vest of a human, for example. Many features inside the software. This is recommendation. This is Mr. Tam Yu Kong from the port operator, the assistant vice president, and it's a lovely video just explaining how the AGV is working at Tours Port. Yeah, what were the customer benefits? Overall, I think it was a win-win situation between IFM and the port operator, PSA. We have increased safety with a smart 3D sensor. We have a human-friendly port. We have fewer accidents. We have increased productivity. Yeah, and of course, standard in IFM, we have our global technical advice and support, robustness. No moving parts in the camera, that might be important as well. Yeah, so a long-lasting hardware. Yeah, there are a lot more ideas for 3D application in ports on vehicle tracking, for example. You can see some examples here. A lot more we have done already, and a lot more for the future. Yeah, anti-collision, as I mentioned before, another important safety application is the rail monitoring for gantry cranes. Yeah, this is also, everybody knows the problem on that application, and you can use this similar camera system for this application as well. Yeah, our port story, as I mentioned in the very beginning, we have more than 25 years experience. We know what we do, and we are sure about the long reliability on our product. And by the way, all of our products have a 5-year warranty, even in that very hard and rugged atmosphere. Yeah. Okay, and finally, to make it easy for you, if you say, hey, I like your camera, I like this application, I like the idea to connect it to a mobile 5G system, we have developed some starter kits together with Ericsson, and Jan, please show us some details on that.
Thank you, Peter. So, great to hear, and I think this is a great experience because it makes the 5G story and the smart port story so much coming to life. Really, because we learned that having the sensor data, having data at all, knowing each and every bit of your operation at any point in time is so important. And we as Ericsson, we are producing 5G networks, 4G networks. We know about connectivity, that's our expertise. But how can we make the 4G and 5G connectivity, how can we make that tangible? That's why we, together with our partners, started to build what Peter already mentioned, so-called starter kits that you can immediately use in your 5G network. And one of these starter kits is including the camera that was just described, that allows you, and Peter here, I think it gives you a really 3D pixel cloud view on objects, and could be made ready for immediate start. So Ericsson and IFM sat together, so we said, okay, how can we really make this purchasable and immediately usable? And we developed a couple of different starter kits coming with power supply, coming with the camera, coming with a mobile 4G or 5G router, and including an HMI, a ruggedized tablet that you can order as a package if you want to try out how the camera behaves in a 4G or a 5G network. And I think this is really a great achievement of our partnership, that we managed to build a couple of those. This is the 5G version with a 5G router, using the same camera, using the same IFM technology on different networks, and helping you really to buy things, to test them out. There are more starter kits with sensors attached, like you can transmit your sensor data via a 4G or 5G network. Yeah, and we're happy to see all of these kits someday or pretty soon in operation. And I think there is also more to come, Peter. So at this point, we would really like to thank you for your attention, and hope to get some questions from your side. We're happy to answer, and then we're back here.
Yeah, thank you, Jan, and thank you all for your time this morning or this afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And yeah, we are waiting for your questions now. Please give us your feedback. I'm sure there are some. Oh yeah, I see the first questions. Okay, let's start with the first question. I think, Jan, that is for you. The question is, who can deploy a 5G network? Can it be the terminal, or does it have to be the port?
Yeah, that's a very good question. What we've seen so far is that the terminals have deployed, so to speak, separate networks on a per terminal basis. But there are also efforts, especially in the larger ports of this world, where the port is looking into how can I deploy a 5G network and offer it as a service to the different terminal operators. So I would say both is possible. It also depends a little bit on the type of licenses that exist in a country. So who can be the holder of these licenses? But in general, we have seen both, and I think the easiest way is to check with the local network operator or with the authorities themselves.
Jan, that brings me to a question. let me give you one additional question. We are always talking this morning about efficiency and of course increasing capacity, reducing costs per unit, and so on. We haven't talked about what are the initial costs for let's say for a private network. If I say I want to start with one terminal, for example.
Yeah, this is very hard to answer because it differs, of course, from country to country, and I can't throw a number here for sure, because it depends on the size of the terminal, it depends on the type of coverage you want to have. There are a couple of different bits and pieces that you can put together in our product, and that in the end determines the final cost. And of course, in a lot of countries, it is then resold by an operator because they hold the spectrum indeed. So the service is offered not directly by Ericsson, but by a mobile network operator that has the experience and the spectrum to offer that type of service.
Okay, thank you very much. Then coming to the next question, can also other sensors than listed in the starter kit be used? In theory, yes, as always, but of course the connectivity and the software in the starter kit are mainly made to operate the cameras. But of course we can add things to the starter kit, but then we have to adapt it to the software as well.
Yeah, I think we have different sensors connected to your IO-Link system.
But this starter kit is something out of the box.
That's out of the box.
Makes it easy out of the box, then it works as it is. If you want to add something, it's not out of the box, but we can easily manage that as well. Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, another question. Do I need to remove, that's an interesting question. Do I need to remove my existing Wi-Fi setup when building a 5G network? Good question.
That's a very good question. Usually you don't, because 5G operates in licensed spectrum. That means it works in spectrum ranges where no Wi-Fi is allowed to transmit. So that's also one big advantage of the cellular technology. Operation in dedicated spectrum, in licensed spectrum, means you have that spectrum really for yourself. It's not like in a Wi-Fi network where anyone coming in can start to transmit on that frequency, which gives 4G and 5G, of course, much better reliability. So the general answer is no, you don't need to switch off your Wi-Fi network. 4G and 5G, especially 5G, will coexist with Wi-Fi as we go. There will be most probably no either or, but 5G can be used for all the connectivity needed that is required by mobility. You talked about the AGVs. We have more and more moving actors in a port. So that's what 5G is for, and that's where 5G has its strong points, while you can use the Wi-Fi still for office applications or other not so time-critical applications.
So that's the interesting message for port operators. So that means you can keep your system as it is and just add 5G as an add-on technology, and then learning with it, and step by step using it in more and more areas. And whenever you want, you can completely switch over, or you can leave it as it is.
Yes, you can. In some ports, the Wi-Fi has been replaced by the cellular technology, because it also creates a cost, of course, and it was no longer needed. But in other deployments, the Wi-Fi has remained in place and now is serving with its capacity for other tasks.
Okay, one more question for me. How difficult is it to set up 3D camera on my application? First of all, depends on the application, of course. We do have quite a few templates. We have, for example, an anti-collision template that makes you very easy to use it in this application. If there are other applications where we don't have a template yet, of course, we have a service team in almost every, I wouldn't say every port, but in almost every country that can help you with that. Yeah, so it's not quite difficult, but of course it's always good to have an experienced engineer next door that can help you on that. Okay, finally a question: how do I select the right hardware to connect my sensors wirelessly to the cloud? The right hardware, yeah. Maybe I can start on the sensor side. What we always recommend is from the sensor side to use one of our edge gateways in between that makes the connectivity to any given cloud very easy and quickly, that also have the security on board. Yeah, and this is, let's say, the southbound side of the edge gateway, and the northbound can be connected to a modem, of course.
Of course. Today we see more and more really ruggedized 4G and 5G gateways and modems coming onto the market, and also in our Ericsson partner ecosystem we have teamed up with suppliers of industrial gateways and modules, which we have also tested with our private 5G network in order to make it easy to connect. And here you can choose, also visiting the Ericsson.com site, you can look up the partners that we're having with different products that we have assured to be able to connect to a private 5G or 4G system.
Okay, perfect. So the next question is also for you, Jan, I think. What is the full service package Ericsson offers?
Well, we as Ericsson, we have packaged the product really as a easy to deploy, easy to manage, and easy to handle type of product. There are other parties like system integrators or network operators that will offer the product then as a type of turnkey solution. We're really focusing on making the product so easy to manage and easy to deploy, to make it robust and to make it fulfill the needs of different verticals like a port. The services wrapped around it will mainly be offered by the local network operator or by system integrators that are already part potentially of your port transformation.
Okay, thank you, Jan. So the last question is, or not the last maybe, but the next one is about the integration of Ericsson and IFM technologies. How does it work? Is there one system engineer as go-to person who will execute the project turnkey? You mentioned turnkey already. I can tell you from our side, I would say for almost every OEM like Bromma, for example, or a port operator like PSA, we do have a dedicated person who is the go-to person and who is in charge of what we call system sales. Yeah, so that means he knows the whole chain from the sensor up to the cloud. Mm-hmm. And I think in this case he is also the go-to person to make a bridge to the local Ericsson guy, to the local service provider, and so on.
I think from an Ericsson perspective, we do the utmost, of course, to give system integrators and operators the right gear at hand, to give the right type of education and knowledge so they can cater for this. But also from an Ericsson perspective, of course, we're always working very closely with IFM to also improve and increase the variety of potential starter packages. And either Ericsson or IFM will have a go-to person that can help you in that type of integration.
Okay, so far I don't see any more questions on this. Just to mention, I think both of our profiles on LinkedIn are on the TOC portal available. So whenever a question comes up later, send us a direct message or get in touch with us. We are more than happy to answer any time, of course. Maybe one experience from my side. I think, Jan, you showed us the private network as well as the public network, and I've seen there are hybrid solutions from certain providers as well. And the thing I learned in a few ports in some countries, that there are countries where you are not able to create a private network.
This is absolutely true. This depends on the country-specific regulation when it comes to spectrum, when it comes to the usage of this, what I already mentioned, like licensed spectrum, so you need a license. And in some countries, this license is exclusive to one or multiple network operators. But those network operators should be able to either help you with more dedicated resources from their public network, or to help you to deploy a private network using their specific spectrum.
Using their public technology.
Yeah.
More or less. Okay, there's one more question came in. Is there a chance to start with a small private network and grow with the demands? That's also for you, Jan. You see.
I think
5G is a big topic today.
I think I mentioned that when I showed the picture with that product package. It is easy to scale. So the answer in a nutshell is yes, you can start small and you can grow with your demand later, for sure. And I think this goes for both. This goes for the capacity in the core network. This goes also for your radio coverage. So ports are a bit specific here, of course. What I have seen so far is that mainly the interest is to already cover a specific larger area within a port or within a terminal to provide real operations like in the stacking area and in the key crane area, or just in the stacking area. So, but yes, you can expand your network anytime you see the need. And
the easiest start, of course, is a starter kit. Yeah,
and
starting from there, yes, you have unlimited options.
Excellent.
Okay, perfect. Good. So let's wait for a second if there's anything else coming. Doesn't look like it. So you never know. Oh, there's one more. Another one for you, Jan. Sorry for that.
A lot of 5G questions today.
So when to use 5G is sometimes 4G or LTE not sufficient enough? That's a good question.
Well, that's a very, very good question. I think generally we can cover also 4G and 5G under the 5G umbrella. But not all countries have issued their 5G licenses, which is basically on the new radio part. There are 5G licenses today, so you are with 4G/LTE, And as well, LTE is a highly developed technology these days as well. So a lot of use cases or usages can be covered by a 4G network. Everything that is not super time critical, everything that does not require the 5G specific high throughput can be catered for with 4G today. But of course, 5G will develop further and further, and will then, of course, be the technology of choice in the mid and long term.
Okay, thank you, Jan. Just waiting one more second. Seems to be a little time delay between the question and when it pops up on our screen. There's no 5G in between. That might be the reason. Yeah, there is no real time on the question side. Okay, but I think it seems that that all the questions are covered. Yeah. Then overall, I would say thank you again to the audience for joining our webinar this morning or this afternoon or whenever you have seen it. And yeah, thank you very much to Jan coming to our studio.
Peter.
And yeah, I hope we could show you how hardware, software, clouds, and especially wireless systems are growing together, and you can easily build a system. You have a go-to person that makes it even easier to configure all the things on the way from the sensor to the cloud. And yeah, let's put it as a final message. Sensor to the cloud is easy now, even with a 5G network in between, or especially with a 5G network in between. Yeah.
Excellent.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you.